Y'all, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I am going to do a chit chat get ready with me. As you guys have probably noticed, well, I'm sure you've noticed, I've been kind of MIA from YouTube over the last year and a half or so. So I kind of just want to explain my hiatus, what's been going on with me personally, and all of that good stuff. And as I chit chat with you guys, I will be going ahead and doing a wash and go. I will be using the Camille Rose Naturals Honey Hydrate leave-in along with my favorite olive oil Ecostyler Gel. I'm gonna be sealing in all of that with Trader Joe's coconut oil. So my hair is already washed and deep conditioned. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply the leave-in to my hair and then go in on top with the gel. As far as my styling utensils, I'll be using my wide tooth comb as well as my Felecia Leatherwood Detangler brush. Y'all, this thing is amazing. I haven't used a Denman brush in years, and this has been like the ultimate replacement. Absolutely love it, and it definitely gets my hair clumped and detangled and all that good stuff. We are just gonna go ahead and start. Oh, this is just water, by the way. We're just gonna go ahead and start with 2017. So 2017 was the year I hit rock bottom, like literally. Anybody who knows me knows that I am kind of a person who always just does what they're supposed to do. So I don't really face a lot of turmoil or difficulty in life, a lot of like major issues, because I just always do what I'm supposed to do, and things just happen to always happen in my favor. And last year taught me how to not take that for granted. So the beginning of the year, I went through a breakup, and it wasn't a bad breakup or anything. It was just a breakup that I was blindsided by, a breakup that I didn't see coming. You know, when we're dating at this age, you're kind of thinking, you know, especially if you've been with somebody for 2 years, that you're gonna get married. And that's kind of where I thought it was gonna lead, but it didn't. I was blindsided by the breakup. It was a breakup, like I said, that I didn't see coming, and it really just took a toll on me personally, because I know how much I gave in that relationship, and to be, you know, for it to end and not really have any answers or given any closure, it was just really, really hard for me. So I fell into a depression spell. It was really, really bad, probably the worst that I've ever experienced. I had gotten to the point where I was just laying just staying at home all day. I wasn't going anywhere. I would just sit in my house in the dark. I mean, I would go to work, but if I had the option, I would work from home. Just work from home, stay in the house all day in the dark. I wasn't watching TV. I was barely eating. Like, I lost like 12 pounds in the span of like a week and a half. It was bad, y'all. And I just, you know, I was in Atlanta at the time, so all of my family and friends are in North Carolina, so I didn't really have a lot of people around me, and that like was probably like the worst. But thankfully, you know, I had, you know, my friends and family who were open. I was like, you know, just call me anytime you want to vent or cry or just talk. And I had friends who would, like, you know, plan trips. We would go somewhere like every weekend. My weekends were booked just to get me out of the house, to get me back to normal, and to, you know, just lessen the blow, I guess, just to get me, you know, back to where I was pre-breakup, and just feeling better and all that good stuff. So I was going through that, you know, over time. It slowly but surely started to get better, very, very slowly, y'all, because this is like the first time I got my heart broken. You know, stuff in like middle school and high school, I feel like that didn't really count. So, you know, this was like real heartbreak. So, you know, as that was getting a little bit better, I go into work one morning, and long story short, I was laid off. And I was like, oh my gosh, God, what is happening? Like, this type of stuff, I would never in my life imagine, like, being jobless. So, you know, the funny thing is, God, although he took me through this, he was still providing, because I had been with my company for 3 years, and they were like, you know, because they had laid off like 150 people that day, and they're like, because you have been with the company for so long, we're giving you 3 months of severance, meaning I got my paycheck, the same paycheck, for 3 months after my layoff date. So I was like, you know, it helped lessen the blow. I was still really sad and was like, you know, what am I about to do with my life? But knowing that I still had income and could still pay my bills, I was like, you know what, that's okay. You know, in the midst of it, God is providing. And I'm just applying a little bit of the honey leaf into my hair because I think it can be a little bit sticky if you use too much. So definitely be mindful of that. So back to my story. You know, at first I was kind of like just again back to sulking around the house, like what am I about to do? But after like, you know, a day or two, I was like, you know what? I'm on an extended paid vacation. Yes, I don't have a job, but I'm still getting a paycheck, and this might not ever happen again in my life. So I'm just gonna enjoy it. So that lasted like a week. You know, I was just, you know, hanging out, going to the pool and just enjoying my life, like kind of just chilling in the city. So thankfully, like a month before that, I was scheduled to renew my lease in Atlanta. And I had already been in talks of moving back home to North Carolina with my family and friends. I was just like, you know, I've been in Atlanta for 3 years. I kind of just want to get back to my family and all that good stuff. So thankfully, like I said, I did not renew my lease, but I had decided to just, you know, pay month to month. So with me losing my job, I was like, you know what? This is the perfect time to just go ahead and make the move. I had nothing tying me down to Atlanta. So, you know, I can just go ahead and move home. So I put in my 30 days notice with my apartment complex and I moved back home. Now, when I say I moved back home, like to my parents' house home. And, you know, it was a humbling experience because never in my life did I think at 27 I would be living in my parents' house. But it honestly wasn't that bad. It was kind of fun because like I was there with my brother and sister, so it was kind of like old times, us living together again, even though they get on my nerves. But you know, it was kind of fun. Now I'm going in on top of the Ecostyler Gel, by the way. But it was kind of fun to just be back around my family. You know, like I said, I had been gone for 3 years in a whole different state, so it was just fun to be back home and to hang out with my old friends and all that stuff. So, I mean, it wasn't the ideal situation, but it wasn't like the end of the world, and I was okay. So I started working with some recruiters and going on interviews, and I think like a week after I moved home, I got a job. So I work in the field of IT. I do warehouse management software design. So if you guys are familiar with the IT world, a lot of positions are contracts, meaning, you know, you work the job for a specific amount of however long they need you to, 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever. And at the end of that contract, if they need you, they'll bring you on full time or extend your contract. And if not, then you just move on to the next project. So I was working with some IT firms and I landed a contract position for 6 months. And it was contract to hire, meaning at the end of the 6 months, if they liked you and they needed you, they would either, you know, extend your contract or bring you on full time. So I started the job, and this was in my hometown, so it kind of all worked out. And long story short, I absolutely hated it. It was, again, if you're familiar with IT world, IT is nothing but white men and Indian men. And that's all that I went to work with. And it was disastrous. And also the company was older. The company that I worked for in Atlanta was a lot younger. Everybody kind of started fresh out of college, so there were a lot of young people there. And even though it wasn't a lot of like people that looked like me, there were still people my age, and there were a handful of people that looked like me. But at this job, there were none my age and no people that looked like me. Also, they didn't give you the ability or the opportunity to work from home. They dressed up every single day. I'm not used to that at all. And it was like just terrible. I had a micromanager, a guy that came by my desk like every day asking for updates and wanting to know what I was doing, y'all. I was in like hell, and I was like, God, you know, what are you telling me? You know, I thought, you know, that this was it, but it's not it at all. So, you know, that's kind of another reason why I got missing from YouTube, because I wasn't used to working every single day for like 10 hours in an office setting. And so it took a toll on me. Like, I would go to work at like 8, but I wouldn't leave until like 6:30, 7 o'clock some days, because some people in there was not trying to go home. So it made me look bad if I'm coming in late or if I'm leaving early, y'all. It was a disaster. So, you know, that's kind of why that's why I got missing from YouTube, because, you know, I would go to work all day. I was drained. And then the last thing I wanted to do, like, just being honest, was get on this camera and like exude energy that I just did not have. So it's like, I'm just gonna stick it out, and, you know, at the end of my contract, find something else. So I started that job in January. So my contract was, I started that job in July. So my contract was scheduled to end in January. So around November, I began applying for jobs. I was going on interviews and things like that, but I was just not getting any callbacks or anything. So I was starting low-key to get a little bit worried, but God. Around Christmas, I kept getting calls from this recruiter, and he kept reaching out to me on LinkedIn about a position that I just felt like I was not qualified for. I was like, I don't think I can do this. So I was just ignoring him, but he kept calling me, y'all. Like, literally would call every few days, leave voicemails, leave me messages on LinkedIn. And if you're looking for a job, side note, LinkedIn is definitely a great option, because there's so many jobs on there, so many recruiters looking on there for people for your type of position. So definitely try LinkedIn if you haven't already. So yeah, he kept reaching out to me, kept calling me, leaving me voicemails. So one day I just decided to answer, and we talked. He told me about the job, and I told him, you know, my reservations about it, but he was like, you know, I think you should still do the interview, and, you know, we'll see what comes out of it. So I interviewed with the company, and I went through like 3 interviews, and on the last interview, it was with the director of the department that was hiring for this position. And he was just like, you know, I can tell that you are definitely a hard worker and you want to learn. So I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and extend you the job offer. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, whoa, okay, cool. So this was literally like the day that my contract was set to end at my current job. But they were still in talks and negotiations, so they hadn't extended, you know, a full-time opportunity, nor had they extended my contract. I was just kind of in limbo with them, just still working. So that was the day that my contract was scheduled to end. Okay, so I remember this like it was yesterday. I was at JFK Airport because I was getting ready to go to Martinique with my cousin and some friends for the MLK holiday. So I'm in JFK Airport, and HR calls me, and they give me, you know, go over the job, all the benefits, the salary, and send me my offer letter. So I was like, I called my mom. I was like, Ma, this job was $15,000 more in salary than what I was currently making, and it was 100% remote, meaning that I worked from home. I didn't have to go in the office and deal with people, which is like an introvert's dream, and it was travel. So, you know, as projects needed or whatever, then I would just travel, which I didn't mind because I love traveling, racking up on hotel points and flight points and all that stuff. So I was just like, wow, God, now I see why you sent me through that storm. Because, you know, like the way that everything just worked out and how timely it was, this was literally the day after my contract was scheduled to end at my current job. It was just like, you know, I'm never doubting you again, because God's timing is literally perfect. So you know, immediately I emailed my current job, put in my 2 weeks notice, resigned, and I was literally like on a high, because 2018 had literally started off amazing. you know, just from everything that I had been through the previous year. So, you know, I started my job, and as soon as I started, I was put on a project that required travel, which is another reason why I've kind of been, you know, kind of scattered with YouTube, because I have been traveling for my job since February. I've been traveling in and out of Memphis, and you know, I travel Monday through Friday. So again, when I get home, y'all, sorry, but I just don't feel like recording. And so, you know, I just wanted to kind of film this update and tell you guys what all kind of transpired over the last year, because God is good. I mean, and that's not even the whole story. Like, as you guys know, I did get engaged a few months ago. And, you know, over the last year, you know, with that whole, everything that I went through as far as the breakup and all that, I was kind of skeptical about dating again. I was just like, yeah, I'm good on that. But my fiance, you know, if you haven't already, check out our proposal video where I kind of go into more detail about how we met and all that good stuff. But he came around, and we were just hanging out at first. I didn't think much of it. I honestly won't pay him no attention at all. But he just kept showing himself and proving himself worthy of my time. He was giving me things that I never knew I needed. He just fulfilled needs that I didn't even know were needs for me. And we stuck it out. At first, like I said, I won't pay him no attention, but he was really consistent. He was very like persistent, and that's how he got me. He stayed on top of it, because that's something that, you know, I never really had in life. And so for him to come in and show that, and to, like, you know, say, you know, hey, I want you, and I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to get you, it was just like, okay. So that was amazing. And once I got my, like I said, I got that permanent position and started my job, I was just like, I felt God telling me, okay, now is your time. Because I had been trying to get a house or buy a house for like 3 years, and every time I started the process, something would come up that would hinder me from doing so. And so it just never worked out for me. And so I felt, you know, okay, I have this permanent job. I'm making the most money that I've ever made before. I'm back home with my family. I am with a guy who loves me and that I know ain't going nowhere. And, you know, I can do this. I can do this. So thankfully, over time, I had been saving for my down payment. That was another one of the perks to moving home into my parents' home, because, you know, I wasn't paying rent. Well, I was giving them money, but I wasn't paying what I was paying back in Atlanta. Like freaking $1,500 in Atlanta for a 1-bedroom apartment. And now that's like my mortgage for a 3,200 square foot house. So, but I can get into that in a whole nother video if y'all want to. So, like I said, you know, I just felt God telling me, okay, now is your time. You can go and you can do what you want to do. And so the funny thing is, you know, when I was looking at buying houses earlier, I was always just like, yeah, I'll just get a little starter home, just something to hold me over until, you know, I get married and have kids, and then I'll get the house that I really want. But I was able to get the house that I really want now. So, it just, you know, it just goes to show, again, you gotta trust God. And I'm not even one to be all preachy. I promise you I'm not. But it's my testimony. Like, it's literally what I went through. So I'm speaking from, you know, my life, what happened, what I experienced, and I can only just share what God has done for me. So I was able to get the house that I wanted. You know, we got engaged. And we have set our wedding date, so we're getting married August 24th, 2019. We have our venue, and we're really excited. It's gonna be like amazing. I can't wait. Like, I really can't wait. But I got some work to do. I gotta lose some weight. I got to save some money so we can pay for it. And yeah, so now I'm just going in and raking out the gel. My hair is clumping really, really well. Also, side note, I did color my ends back in May. I followed a Bree Hall tutorial, and I'll link it above. This is what I did back in May. It gave me a light color on my tips, but because my hair was dark, it didn't take like I wanted it to. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went in on top of that color with the Clairol Textures and Tones color in the color Honey Blonde. I just found it from like Walmart for like $6, and I went on top with that, and that definitely lightened up my tips and gave me the color that I was wanting. I've been asked a few times, have I experienced any damage? I have not experienced any damage whatsoever. My curls, no damage to my curl pattern. If anything, my hair just gets drier quicker, so I have to moisturize it more. I can usually, you know, go like, I could go like 5 days without moisturizing my hair, and now it's more like 3 before it's just dry. So that's the only difference in my hair that I have noticed. And again, I didn't use any bleach either time, so there's no bleach on my hair whatsoever. I know I said I would never color my hair again, but never say never. Again, I didn't use bleach, so that was the main thing that damaged my hair the first time. So I did not use any of that. I was like, if I'm gonna lighten my hair, I cannot use bleach because I don't have time for any damage. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video to encourage anybody who may be dealing with the same thing. Just to, you know, encourage you to just trust the process, trust God, and you know, when everything is over and done with and you're at your finish line, you'll realize, you know, why he made you wait, and how like that he'll give you literally everything that you wanted and more, things that you can never even imagine. What is the saying? I think the saying is like God's no's are always ending like an even better yes. And you know, those no's as far as that breakup ending, the no as far as every time I was trying to get a house and couldn't, the no's as far as being laid off my job, you know, it ended in the absolutely perfect yes. You know, I got to move home with my family. I'm close to all of my friends again. You know, I am with an amazing guy. I get to marry the love of my life, and I'm in my dream home at the age of 28. Like, how many people can say that? And it's just amazing. It's amazing how this year alone so much has happened, and God literally turned my life around 180 degrees. Okay, so I am all done. This didn't take me long at all, really. I think if I wasn't talking, I could have done it faster. As you can see, my curls clump perfectly. Even despite the color, there's no curl damage at all. Again, with this honey leave-in, it's important to not use too much because it can leave you feeling really sticky. And it pairs amazing with the Oil Ecostyler Gel. This is like my second time trying this combo, and I love it. So, I mean, Camille Rose Naturals literally can do no wrong for me. So, I absolutely love like pretty much all of their products. And yeah, so I'm gonna allow my hair to air dry, and I will come back on tomorrow and show you all the final results. But in the meantime, I do hope you all enjoyed this life update, kind of just like my testimony of, you know, hitting rock bottom and then rising to the top in my journey up to the top. Again, I don't try to be too churchy or too preachy or anything like that, but I can't help but to share the goodness of God in my life and what he has done for me. Again, I hope this encourages or inspires anybody who may be dealing with a whole bunch of no's from God, or you know, you're just waiting on your time to come, or you're just waiting on a big breakthrough. I promise you there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Keep the faith, stay strong, and I promise you God will bring you to the light, and it will be more than anything that you could ever imagine. Let my story guide you and inspire you, and just show you that it happens. God provides, and his timing is perfect. So yeah, like I said, I'll be back on tomorrow to show you my hair once it dries. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions, video requests, or anything like that, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys.